upcoming 250th anniversary. Coin initiative has sparked backlash from Democrats. Bob Wagner reporting.
GOP Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton has positioned himself as the grassroots favorite in the runoff election to determine the party's Senate nominee.
The runoff election takes place on May 26th. Attorney General Paxton is trying to unseat incumbent Senator John Cornyn. Mr. Paxton is drawing praise from conservative activists who are attending the Conservative Political Action Conference, or CPAC, meeting near Dallas. Senator Cornyn has more fundraising and support from the GOP establishment, but Attorney General Paxton is leaning into his MAGA loyalty.
As correspondent Andrew Stewart reporting, Iranian-backed Houthi rebels have entered the month-long war in the Mideast, claiming they've launched missiles toward Israel. About 2,500 Marines have arrived in the Mideast. News and analysis at townhall.com.
In today's fast-paced world, professionals face endless projects, deadlines, competition. To thrive, you need mental clarity, sharp focus, and reliable memory. That's why the same company that brings you Relief Factor created Think Factor. Think Factor is designed to help you think clearer and perform better daily. It's a powerful blend of nutrients that supercharges your memory and sharpens your focus. You can stay on top of your work and outshine the competition. After a couple of weeks of taking Think Factor, I noticed a dramatic difference in my clarity, my focus, even my memory. And you know what? The longer you take Think Factor, the better the results are. Ever felt mentally foggy or struggled to keep up with everything on your plate? Think Factor can help you face project today. Call 800-4RELIEF, 800 the number 4RELIEF, or visit relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com to order Think Factor. Call 800-4RELIEF or visit relieffactor.com. Your first bottle just $19.95. Think Factor. Think clearer, perform better daily.
Republican Senator Eric Schmidt of Missouri says Democrats are concerned because the SAVE Act includes common sense provisions such as voter ID and ending men and women's sports.
These are all very popular issues. I think they're very worried that the more time we spend on it and they're held to account on votes, it's going to burn them. And they shouldn't worry about it because they're completely out of step with the American people.
He says Republicans are backing a bill that would require a person to verify their citizenship in order to vote.
No sane country would allow 15 million people to come here illegally. Some of those people now in some states can't get driver's licenses. And if you have a driver's license, you can probably register to vote. So this is the loophole that we're trying to clear up.
Schmidt was interviewed on the Sales Network. Hundreds of employees in one of the U.S. Navy's biggest shipbuilding contractors have voted to approve the deal with Bath Iron Works in the strike. The collective bargaining agreement Saturday goes into effect immediately. Breaking news at townhall.com. A Missouri judge has allowed the use of a new U.S. House district backed by President Trump. More from John Scott.
A judge ruled Friday that the new districts can remain in place while election officials determine whether opponents submitted enough petition signatures to trigger a referendum. The ruling is a victory for Republicans because it means the new district lines are to be followed as candidates file for office. Opponents had argued the district should have been suspended after referendum petitions were submitted. John Scott reports.
Dual jury verdicts this week have validated longstanding concerns about the dangers of social media for young people, but the U.S. lacks federal regulation that meaningfully addresses these harms. Other countries, meanwhile, have implemented a bevy of restrictions on children's online activities, ranging from outright social media bans to requiring younger teens to link their accounts to a parent's account. You'll find more on these stories at townhall.com. I'm Ron Taylor reporting.
Okay.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host and do not express the views of WDBF ownership or Hometown Talk Radio. Content aired on all programs are those of the host and their guests.
Okay. Oh, geez, okay. 270.
Hey, Joey, what's happening? I mean,
Break.
what's happening in Middleboro and surrounding towns?
We're like,
It's time for the Middleboro Week in Review with your host, Joey
no.
Russo. Stay tuned for news, Middleboro News, here on AM 1530 WBBF. Hey, Joey, what's happening?
And good morning and welcome to Middleboro in review. I am Joey Driscoll. Today is Sunday, March 29th, 2026. Today is a beautiful day. It's a little cold outside, about 25 degrees or so right now. I'm going to check the weather in a minute. But it is supposed to warm up quite a bit here throughout the day today. And over the week as well, it's supposed to warm up pretty significantly as well. We might even see 70 degrees. Yes, you heard that right. 70 degrees this week. We'll talk about it here in a minute. But welcome to Middleboro Written Review. I am Joey Driscoll. Today is the last Sunday in the month of March. We are fast approaching the month of April. And winter is still kind of here a little bit with the temperatures at least. But hopefully there's the end of the tunnel for this week. Very nice weather. You're not going to see anywhere near 20 degrees after today, at least for the next 10 days, and probably even longer than that. This might be the last hurrah when it comes to the very cold weather here. But we're going to get to the weather in just a second. Also on the program today, I am alone. I am just me today. No Dawn, as you may have noticed already, since I didn't say good morning to Dawn. But he is away. He'll be back next Sunday. Actually, he'll be returning tonight. So he was in Florida this week. He's returning via the auto train. So he'll be back. Tonight sometime. He's currently actually right now in Richmond. He just texted me a couple minutes before we got on the air here. So you'll be hearing from him again next Sunday. So stay tuned for that. So it's just going to be me on the show today. So open phone lines, 508-822-1106. 508-822-1106 is the number to call if you want to call in. Talk about what is on your mind this morning. Let's get back to the weather real quick. Again, like I mentioned here, today should be the last day we're going to see 20-degree weather for a while, at least for the next 10 days. So that's good news. But let's talk about the weather now. In Taunton, it is currently 25 degrees, as I mentioned just a minute ago. The low last night was 23 degrees. We have a low tonight of probably around 40 or so. Yeah, around 40 or so is the low. For tonight. 25 degrees currently. High of 47 today. There is a fire weather watch in effect for today. Dry but breezy day is forecasted for today with relative humidities this afternoon. Expected to drop to 25 to 40% range away from the Cape and the islands. In addition, southwesterly winds of about 25 to 30 miles per hour develop by this afternoon. Combined with the lack of recent significant rainfall, which, we haven't had a whole lot of rainfall. It's rained, but not significantly. Elevated fire weather potential will exist for today. Use caution when handling and disposing of ignition sources such as matches or cigarettes. So that is for this area, issued by the National Weather Service this morning. So there you go. So just keep that in mind for today if you're out there and want to keep an eye on that, because it is going to be very windy today. The wind is going to be a little bit of an issue today. Wind gust right now up to 10 miles per hour. Again, it will go up as we get through the day today, but 47 degrees with high. in Taunton for today. So not that bad, but it will feel a little bit cooler because of the wind. Tomorrow is where we start to see the temperatures start to go up, and they go up significantly. Monday, cloudy skies, high of 60, low of 38. On Tuesday, we have a high of 63, also cloudy. The thing is, with the warm weather, apparently, the sun kind of goes away. And that's the unfortunate part. It will be clear today. Nice, beautiful day today. You'll see the sun all day. And then you'll have some problems seeing the sun for the next 9 or so days, it looks like, from my weather thing here. Could change. It could change. This weather is not set in stone. But right now, Monday, cloudy skies, high of 60, low of 38. Tuesday, cloudy, high of 63 with a low of 48. Wednesday, significant chance of rain, higher than 50%. High of 70. Now, this is what I was talking about earlier, where you could see a high of 70 degrees this week. Well, it will be on Wednesday, potentially. You'll see 70 degrees, a low of 50. So a beautiful day on Wednesday. However, there is a chance of rain, a very significant chance of rain, high of a percentage of 65% or so. Thursday, the rain prediction goes up a little bit, 75% for both Thursday and Friday, high of 50 on Thursday, high of 48 on Friday, with lows of 36 each night. And then you get into next weekend, still cloudy. It's still saying cloudy skies. Saturday into Sunday of next week, highs in the lower 50s and lows in the upper 30s. And Monday and Tuesday of next week, highs in the upper 40s, highs in the upper 50s, lows in the lower 40s. So pretty, dry potentially, week, but not a lot of sun. In Middleboro, it is currently 25 degrees, high of 47, a low of 21 last night in Middleboro. We had a low of about 38 tonight. We have a high of 47 for Middleboro, high of 59 tomorrow, low of 38, low of 48 on Tuesday night with a high of 63, and on Wednesday, high of 69 with a low of 48. In Driscoll, Texas, high of 83 today, currently 61 degrees, low of 60. And got some wind later on during the week, but temperatures are going to mostly hover around the upper 80s, and with the lows in the upper 60s to low 70s. So pretty consistent temperatures there. Driscoll, North Dakota, very cold today. It's kind of the same kind of weather that we're having here. Driscoll, North Dakota seems to be having that same kind of weather. 31 degrees currently. Feels like temperature of 26 because the wind gusts are up to 15 miles per hour right now. A high of 60 today, though, so the temperatures will rebound. Tomorrow, high of 56 with a low of 33. And on Tuesday, high of 38 and a low of 24. The temperatures starting on Tuesday in Driscoll, North Dakota, will struggle to get into the 40s. And there might even be, in Driscoll, North Dakota, might even be some chances for snow in April. So, not out of the woods yet in Driscoll, North Dakota. Holiday, Florida. Beautiful currently out there. It is 65 degrees, a high of 80 with a low of 65. Tomorrow, high of 81 with a low of 66 degrees. And that is your weather for today. Our Today in Histories. Now let's get to our Today in Histories. Now, we got a lot to get to with this one. A lot of Today in Histories, actually, that I ended up getting for today, March 29th. So let's get right to it. March 29th, 1806, construction is authorized of the Great National Pike, which is better known as the Cumberland Road, becoming the first United States federal highway. March 29th, 1871, Royal Albert Hall is opened by Queen Victoria. On this day, in 1957, the New York, Ontario, and Western Railway makes this final run, the first major U.S. railroad to be abandoned in its entirety. You kind of see more of that between about that time and then in the 70s with the introduction of Amtrak in the 70s as well. You'll see more of that. Some of the railways go under as well at that time. In March 29th, 1961, the 23rd Amendment to the United States Constitution is ratified, which allows residents of Washington, D.C. to vote in presidential elections. And for the majority of those elections, they have been voting Democrat in wide numbers. And I don't know if there was ever any. And you can give me a call at 508-822-1106. I don't know if there's any presidential election where Washington, D.C. voted Republican. I'm sure there might have been maybe one, but let me know. 508-822-1106. Was there ever any Washington, D.C. presidential election where that area ended up voting Republican? Because I know the majority of the elections, presidential elections that DC has been a part of, overwhelmingly Democrat was the result there in DC. But let me know if there was any. I'll maybe look this up during the break. But give me a call, 508-822-1106. If there was ever any time where DC voted red, voted Republican. But getting back to our today in history. 1973, Vietnam War. The last United States combat soldiers leave South Vietnam. Also on the same day, Operation Barrel Roll, a covert American bombing campaign of Laos to stop communist infiltration in South Vietnam, that ends. On this day in 1984, the Baltimore Colts load its possessions into 15 Mayflower moving trucks in the early morning hours and transfer their operations to Indianapolis. They become the Indianapolis Colts. And Baltimore would not have a team for a good 15 years or so. They wouldn't have a team. Quite a bit that they wouldn't have a team. But the Baltimore Ravens ended up being created. And now Baltimore is back to having a team, and the Baltimore Ravens are pretty good. So there you go. On this day in 1999, the Dow Jones Industrial Average closes above the 10,000 mark. I said almost at 50,000 mark. It did reach the 50,000 mark, but not 1999. 10,000 mark. There you go. For the first time during the height of the .com bubble. And again, as I mentioned, it's was above 50,000. It's now right around 45,000. We've reached the 50,000 mark for the first time ever earlier on this year. I believe in early February sometime. Our birthdays for today. 1790, John Tyler, American lawyer and politician. He was the 10th president of the United States. 1867, Cy Young, an American baseball player and manager, has an award named after him. Very important figure in baseball, Cy Young was. He is in the Hall of Fame as well. He has, again, the Cy Young Award named after him. So, very important figure in baseball. He was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1937. He has career records of 511 wins. That's an MLB record. 7,356 career innings pitched. 815 career games, 749 career complete games, 749 of those. That's in the record books. And also 25 and 1/3 consecutive hitless innings pitched. And that is an MLB record, and that's not going to happen. Not in today's baseball. No way. That is just not going to happen. You might get close. But I just don't think there will be a pitcher that does that. He pitched a perfect game on May 5th, 1904. Pitched 3 no-hitters in 1897, 1904, and 1908. He's in the Boston Red Sox Hall of Fame. He's in the Cleveland Guardians Hall of Fame. And he's a World Series champion, of course, with the Boston Americans / Boston Red Sox. So very important figure in baseball. Cy Young. There you go. On this day in 1874, Lou Henry Hoover, American philanthropist and geologist. She was the 33rd First Lady of the United States, born on this day, 1874. Born on this day in 1962, Billy Beane, American baseball player and manager. Obviously a big name, Billy Beane. If you saw the movie Moneyball, about the athletics there, and Brad Pitt was a part of that movie. A great film, by the way. It's about that Billy Beane led Oakland athletics team, and that's very big movie there. Brad Pitt played Beane, and one of my favorite sports movies of all time, Moneyball. Outside of a couple of other ones, Draft Day is one of them. Remember the Titans is another one that I think is really, really good. But yeah, Moneyball was really, really good, and it's about Billy Beane and the Oakland Athletics. So there you go. His birthday is today. On this day, 1971, Robert Gibbs, born on this day, 1971, American political advisor and the 28th White House press secretary. And a little bit more about him, because he went on to do some interesting things after being press secretary. He served as executive vice president and global chief communications officer of McDonald's from 2015 to 2019. He was also, again, White House press secretary under Barack Obama. Also, I think I'm missing one. That one other thing that he did as well. I don't have it in front of me. But he had a really interesting career. Oh, yeah. So one thing I was missing here is that he was announced as head of communications for Warner Brothers Discovery in 2024. He's currently in that role right now. So that was very interesting to read about him as well. Robert Gibbs, White House press secretary under Obama. His birthday is today. He is 55. Okay, passings on this date, 1985. Luther Terry, an American physician and academic. He was the 9th Surgeon General of the United States. And passing away on this day 10 years ago today, in 2016, Patty Duke, an American actress. All right, 7:28 a.m. Open phone lines today, 508-822-1106, 508-822-1106 is the number to call. We are going to pause here in a minute for our news. When we come back, we'll have a bunch of local stuff to get to. as well. A little topics to get to. We'll talk about the middleboro election, what's going to be on the ballot, and things like that. We'll have a little bit of a sports segment as well in the program. I don't know if we're going to get to our transportation segment today. We might. If we don't, we'll talk about it tomorrow on Middleboro Matters from 11 a.m. to 12. So stay tuned for that tomorrow if we don't get to our transportation topic today. So we'll have that. But 7:29 a.m., let's take our commercial break. Excuse me, I'll take our commercial break and then our news break, and we'll be right back.
Big changes are rolling through the world of technology and mobility, and the Tech Mobility Minute is your daily guide to it all. I'm Ken Chester. Join me Monday through Friday morning for fast, clear insights that make sense of today's high-tech driven world. Informative, relatable, and easy to understand. That's what the Tech Mobility Minute delivers. Only on AM 1530 WBBF and 99.7 FM. Your hometown station from Middleboro, Taunton, and southeastern Massachusetts.
Hi, this is Paul Lads inviting you to join me Thursday mornings, 9 to 11, here on WVBF AM and FM for Cranberry Country Journal, still bringing you a slice of life with the people, places, and activities and events to make the Cranberry Country area a special place to call home. Join me Thursday morning, 9 to 11, Cranberry Country Journal on WVBF.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Michael Herring. Iran-backed Houthi rebels have entered the month-long war in the Middle East and claim that they launched missiles toward Israel.
Okay.
Houthis could threaten another important global shipping lane in the region. Meanwhile,
7:30. We're done there.
have arrived in the Middle East to strengthen the largest U.S. military buildup in the region in more than 20 years. The White House is defending President Trump's mail ballot in last week's special election in Florida. White House correspondent Greg Cluxton fills us in.
The president argues that
Dude,
voting by
Douglas
mail
too.
leads to fraud, and he's pushing Congress to
Might as well do that too.
But that didn't stop him from casting a mail ballot in the race to represent his home district in Palm Beach County. He voted by mail, even though early in-person voting was available while he was in Florida. The White House spokesperson said that the president objects to universal mail-in voting and that he supports exceptions for some mail-in ballots. Greg Clugston, the White House.
There's a change coming to U.S. currency. We get that story from correspondent Bob Agnew.
The Trump administration has announced that future U.S. paper currency will feature President Donald J. Trump's signature alongside Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent's, marking the first time a sitting president's signature will appear. The move, tied to the nation's upcoming 250th anniversary, comes alongside other Trump-themed commemorative coin initiatives and has sparked backlash from Democrats. Bob Agnew reporting.
Christians around the world are celebrating Palm Sunday today, commemorating Jesus' triumphal entry into Jerusalem, marking the beginning of Holy Week and the final week of Lent. The holiday features the blessing of palm branches, processions, and readings of the Passion, symbolizing both the welcome of Jesus as King and his journey toward the crucifixion. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Whether you're preparing for exams, juggling family and career, or just looking to stay sharp as you age, Think Factor is here. Created by the same company that makes Relief Factor, Think Factor supports sharper focus, stronger recall, and clearer thinking. It's the natural way to make your brain have the nutrients it needs for memory, attention, and even vibrant vision. Call 800-4-RELIEF. 800, the number 4-RELIEF, or visit ReliefFactor.com to learn more. Look, I was a little bit skeptical. I started taking Think Factor. After a few weeks, wow, my memory, my focus, my concentration, better than ever. And Think Factor results get better the longer it's taken. If you want to stay focused during demanding tasks, keep your memory strong, maintain mental energy for whatever's ahead, the Think Factor is for you. Call 800-4-RELIEF. 800, the number 4-RELIEF, or visit ReliefFactor.com to learn more and order Think Factor. Your first model is just $19.95. Call 800-4-RELIEF or visit ReliefFactor.com for Think Factor.
Hundreds of employees of one of the U.S. Navy's biggest shipping contractors voted to approve a deal with Bath Iron Works ending a week-long strike. The shipyard says the members of the Bath Marine Draftsmen Association have ratified a 4-year collective bargaining agreement. It happened yesterday and goes into effect immediately. Approval followed an hours-long union meeting at a high school in Maine. The shipyard and the union had negotiated for weeks without resolving differences before the strike began. The company did not respond to any questions about whether the strike actually slowed production. The USS Massachusetts has joined the Navy fleet. Saturday's commissioning ceremony made the submarine the first named after the Bay State. The Navy says the nuclear-powered sub has enhanced stealth, sophisticated surveillance capabilities, and special warfare enhancements. It cost $2.8 billion and was christened on May 6th in 2023 by the ship's sponsor, Sheryl Sandberg. News and analysis at townhall.com. A candy keeper in Europe.
Nestle says some 12 tons of Kit Kat bars, that's 413,793 Kit Kat bars, were stolen after leaving the production site in Italy, headed for Poland. The theft happened several days ago. The Swiss-based food giant says the vehicle and its load are still nowhere to be found. The company says the missing candy bars could enter unofficial sales channels across European markets. But if that happens, the bars can be traced using the batch code assigned to individual bars. I'm Donna Border.
The Oscars are leaving Hollywood. In 2029, the ceremony will move from its longtime home at the Dolby Theater in Hollywood to downtown Los Angeles and the Peacock Theater 9 miles away. That's the same year that the telecast will officially shift from ABC TV to YouTube. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Okay, one more commercial. How to get information. There we go. Perfect. Information for the next segment. All right.
Hometown radio station. And one of the things we like to do to support people in your hometown is to run community announcements. If you do belong to a nonprofit group or organization, or if you're an official with a city or town government, send your community announcements along to our email address. It's safe, it's fast, and allows us to get right back to you if we have a question. Send your community announcements to WVBF1530@hotmail.com. That's WVBF1530@hotmail.com. Thank you for listening. Your hometown radio station is AM 1530, WVBF, AM 99.7 FM.
Which one? And we're back here on Middleboro in Review as I turned on the bumper music. 7:37 a.m. Open phone lines today, 508-822-1106. So the answer to question I put out there, I went and checked that out. I had been wondering if there was ever a Republican presidential candidate that won D.C. and no, not even close. The closest candidate, Republican candidate, to win D.C. since D.C. has been able to vote since the 1964 election was the 1972 election. Richard Nixon got 21% of the vote. 21% of the vote Richard Nixon got to George McGovern's 78% of the vote. That was in 1972. That was the closest a Republican got to being competitive in D.C. Not competitive at all. On the other side of things, the least amount of the vote that a presidential candidate, Republican presidential candidate, got in D.C. was Trump. The first time around in 2016, Trump got 4.09% of the vote to Hillary Clinton's 90% of the vote at that time. So there you go. Also, I checked some other stuff as well with DC. They have the home rule there in DC. They've had that for quite a little bit now. And since that has been put in place, there has been no Republican mayors in DC at all. We'll get to that in a second. It looks like the last Republican to serve any kind of big role in DC was during the presidents of the Board of Commissioners. In 1878, the Board of Commissioners was made permanent and reorganized. From 1878 to 1967, the district was administered by this new 3-member Board of Commissioners with both legislative and executive authority, all appointed by the president. The board comprised of one Democrat, 1 Republican, and 1 civil engineer. No specific party for that engineer. The 3 commissioners would then elect one of their number to serve as president of the board. While not quite analogous to the role of mayor, the president of the board was the district's chief executive. The last president of the board to be a Republican in D.C. was Robert E. McLaughlin from 1956 to 1961. And then they introduced the mayor commissioner from 1967 to 1975. There was only one person who was in that role. He was a Democrat. That was Walter Washington. And then the mayors of the District of Columbia since 1975. Walter Washington being the first one, Marion Barry, and going down the line. There's been 8 mayors, all Democrat. So there has not been a Republican leader of DC since the late 50s. So there you go. That's something I wanted to also talk about because that caught my eye as well. And I've talked about Boston before as well, and their mayors as well. There hasn't been a Republican mayor in about a little over 100 years at this point for Boston. So that's always kind of interesting to look back at that kind of history there. What are your thoughts? 508-822-1106. 508-822-1106 is number to call. All right, we have an election coming up for Middleboro, and we're going to get to that here right now. The annual town election is going to be taking place on April the 4th, and the sample ballot here and what to expect here. I'm going to go over that right now. For select board, 3-year terms, vote for 2. 3 names are on that. That would be Mark Germain, Thomas White, who are both running for re-election. Also on the select board ballot is, we have a phone call. Let's take that phone call and say good morning, caller.
Yeah, Joey, they moved that Middleboro meeting.
Yes.
You better check the date. It's not April 4th no more.
The town meeting? I'm talking about the election.
Yeah, didn't they move the election, or is that still April 4th?
I believe so. I didn't see anything online say that they moved the election. I know that they moved the town meeting. I actually talked about that on Friday. They moved it, I think it was May 18th. Or they're going to move it to May 18th.
Okay, good. No, I just got to make sure. Thanks, Joey. Have a good day, huh?
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, caller.
All right.
Yep.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yes, town meeting did get moved. May 18th, I believe, is the new date for that. Believe the election. I haven't seen anything online saying that the election has been moved. I believe the election is still going to be April the 4th. So we'll double check that and talk about it tomorrow if if there's a change. But right now, April 4th is the town election for Middleborough. But for the select board, Mark Germain, Thomas White, both are running for re-election. Tracy Craig McGee is running also on that for select board as well. Gas and electric commissioners. Ellen M. Farley Wiley is running for re-election for Middleborough Gas and Electric Commissioner. That's a 3-year term. Vote for one. She's the only person on that ballot there. School committee. Well, now school committee is probably the most interesting and jam-packed race here this year, and that is school committee. 3 years and vote for 3. There was a couple running for re-election, and that is Jessica Chartoff and Alan Frawley, both running for re-election. Also, the names on there are as well some new names: Alexander Cook, Leah Machado, Sean McKellar. I believe that's how you pronounce the name. I apologize if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly. Christian Nicole Phillips and Robert Sullivan. Robert Sullivan will not be on that. He did announce that he is stepping away from the school committee to focus, I believe, on the finance committee there. But he still appears here, it looks like, on the sample ballot. But again, he is not running for school committee. He announced that at a school committee meeting recently. Also, there's another school committee spot here as well, and that's only one person running here, and that would be a 1-year term. Vote for 1. Kimberly Ann Redlawn is running there, unopposed. Board of Assessors running unopposed. Paula M. Burdick, candidate for re-election. Finance Committee, we have a couple of candidates running for re-election. Alan Robert Kirshner and Matthew Phillips running for re-election. This is Finance Committee for a 3-year term. Vote for 3. And Nathan Demers is on the ballot there as well. So there you go. Planning Board running unopposed. Alan Frawley, candidate for re-election for the Planning Board. Again, running unopposed. 5-year term. Vote for 1. Again, there's only one on the ballot. Alan Frawley. Park Commissioners, 2 on the ballot there. 3-year term. Vote for 2. Judith Ann Bigelow Costa and Dawn Marianne Savory. Both are running for re-election. Housing Authority, 2 on the ballot there as well. 5-year term. Vote for 1. Nancy Thomas, Sarah K. Person, also running there. And Nancy Thomas is running for re-election. So there you go. There's your ballot for the election. And I'm going to take another commercial break. I'm going to very quickly just check online to see if there's any news online about this election and it being potentially moved or anything like that. I'm going to do that really fast, and we'll come back with some news on that, and we'll be right back.
WVBF is your hometown radio station. And one of the things we like to do to support people in your hometown is to run community announcements. If you do belong to a nonprofit group or organization, or if you're an official with a city or town government, send your community announcements along to our email address. It's safe, it's fast, and it allows us to get right back to you if we have a question. Send your community announcements to WVBF1530@hotmail.com. That's WVBF1530@hotmail.com. Thank you for listening. Your hometown radio station is AM 1530, WVBF, and 99.7 FM.
I found hope in the midst of an overwhelming situation.
I let go of trying to control things that I had no control over, and that helped me find peace of mind.
Alcoholism is a disease that can affect any family. Everyone suffers, but there is help and hope at Al-Anon Families.
I
was constantly stressed and worried. Now I approach each day with joy and gratitude.
In Al-Anon, families and friends of alcoholics find new ways to heal from the effects of a loved one's drinking.
Al-Anon gave me my life back. I'm a better father and husband.
Are you in an overwhelming situation because of someone else's drinking? Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Local and virtual meetings are available. Maybe one could work for you. For information, call 1-866-200-0033 or visit alanon.org/hope.
I'll do one more commercial. Let's see, what am I looking for? 117. We'll do 117 again.
Big changes are rolling through the world of technology and mobility, and the Tech Mobility Minute is your daily guide to it all. I'm Ken Chester. Join me Monday through Friday morning for fast, clear insights that make sense of today's high-tech driven world. Informative, relatable, and easy to understand. That's what the Tech Mobility Minute delivers. Only on AM 1530, WVBF, and 99.7 FM. Your hometown station for Middleboro, Taunton, and southeastern Massachusetts.
I'll go back 3:20. Okay, and we're back. As I turned down the pub music, I just had to double check about the town election. Looks like from what I'm seeing online, it's still April 4th. So that is the election. April 4th is still the date. What is going to be moved, however, is town meeting. Town meeting was going to happen in mid-April. It will now happen in mid-May. Town meeting pushed back to I believe the date was May 18th, or they were talking about May 18th being the date. So that's for town meeting, May 18th. Town election is still going to be April the 4th. So I just wanted to make sure I said that, make sure I double checked that before we moved on here on this. Also, I saw this online as well this week. Notice of aerial pesticide application is going to be happening this week, starting tomorrow through the 4th of April, between 5:30 a.m. and 3 p.m. weather permitting. Wetlands in the town of Middleboro, 2,900 acres. Rochester, 700 acres. And this is for the Plymouth County Mosquito Control Project, getting an early start on that. But never be too early when it comes to the mosquitoes. Mosquitoes are very dangerous, so if they're able to get an early start on those mosquitoes and avoid a bad mosquito season later on this year, that's going to be important to do. So there you go. That's pretty important stuff. So that's going to be happening this week. So if you're in that area, keep that in mind. They're going to be doing that. If you're in a wetlands area in town, keep that in mind. That's what they're doing this week. So I saw that as well. Also, something I wanted to quickly mention as well. If you're in Lakeville, there will be an internet access public workshop for Middleboro, Lakeville, and Carver residents. And for the people in Middleboro, Lakeville, and Carver, they're working together to help everyone in town effectively access the internet. Join us for an open house to help create a community vision. And that is going to be happening at the Lakeville Public Library, April 14th, 4 Preston Street, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. in Lakeville. So there you go. SERPED is part of this as well, and also the Massachusetts Broadband Institute. And this project was funded by the Massachusetts Broadband Institute at the Mass Tech Collaborative under the Municipal Digital Equity and Planning Program. Funding was provided by Massachusetts ARPA State Fiscal Recovery Fund. So there you go. That's very interesting as well. That should be an interesting workshop as well. If you're in Lakeville, go and check that out because internet is very important, and getting people access to internet in the town is very important. So there you go. Also, do a little bit of sports here to end the program today. Tomorrow I was going to talk about dog licenses. I will do that tomorrow on Middleboro Matters. We'll do that one more time here before the month of March ends, because the deadline, there's a 3-month grace period. That deadline is going to be Tuesday. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. There's a 3-month grace period from the 1st of the year to the 31st of March. And that ends again Tuesday. So we'll talk about that again tomorrow. But I want to end on a sports note today. We still got 5 minutes left in the program if you want to call in, 508-822-1106. But I want to end on a sports note today. The big news is some unfortunate news for, at the end of this week, we heard some very unfortunate news. The WNBA's Connecticut Sun franchise is being sold for $300 million, and it will be moving following next season. Basketball in Connecticut will be no more following next season. That franchise moves to Houston. Yes, Houston, Texas, in 2027. This will mark a return for the WNBA to Houston, and that was when Houston had a team in 1997-2008. There we go. The Houston Comets. Don't know what the new team will be called. Could be called the Houston Comets. I'm not sure, but you got one more year of Connecticut Sun basketball. Very depressing news there. And there was some talk about Boston potentially getting a WNBA franchise. I haven't heard much of anything new on that. It doesn't sound like that's going to be happening anytime too soon, unfortunately. So that's kind of an unfortunate thing. The Connecticut Sun have had their struggles. They have. So it's unfortunate to see them go. We'll see what happens for the WNBA and their plans here for this area, because it's going to be pretty sad to not have any WNBA basketball here in the area to watch. So we'll keep an eye on that. But again, 2026 will be the last year of the Connecticut Sun. Now, we move on to some Red Sox news, and boy, I'm glad I wasn't watching the game yesterday. I did listen to a couple of innings. I caught the end of the game, pretty much. I was listening 8th inning through the 11th inning. I caught the end of it. Red Sox did suffer their first loss of the year. They're now 1-1. They lost 6-5 to the Cincinnati Reds in extra innings, in 11 innings. Very good game from Red Sox, regardless. The problem is, the problem is the umpires. Apparently, according to the radio broadcast, again, I didn't watch the game. I only was listening to the radio broadcast through inning number 8 through 11 because I was listening to the Worcester Red Sox. And by the way, good game for the Worcester Red Sox, a huge win for them. They put together a great game against the Syracuse Mets and picked up their first win of the year. But they're the AAA affiliate of the Boston Red Sox, the Worcester Red Sox. Apparently, I tuned into the Boston Red Sox game, and apparently, the umpire, one of the umpires that was in the game, according to WEI and their announcers, had missed quite a few calls, and it was quite kind of frustrating for them and the fans there, even in Cincinnati. So. Yeah, I mean, you're going to get those games. You're going to get those games this year where the umpires are having an off night or an off day, and there'll be a lot of people who are going to be angry about it. But there were apparently a lot of blatant missed calls, like completely missed calls, like that were clear as day. Even in the 8th inning, I believe, the bottom of the 8th inning, when I was listening, there was a missed call at that time. As well. So, yikes. That stinks because, again, maybe that was a contributing factor as to why the Red Sox lost the game. They did have a good comeback. They almost came back and won the Boston Red Sox. Not panicking. 1-1 to start the year, not panicking at all. This is game number 2 of 162, so I'm not panicking at all with the Boston Red Sox. All right, that'll do it for today's program. I'll be back on again tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. to 12, for another edition of Middleboro Matters. Until then, I hope everyone has a great rest of your weekend. Boston Red Sox will be back on the mound today. I believe a 1:10 start, I believe it is. Or either 1:10 or 1:30, somewhere around there. They start. Worcester Red Sox, 1:05 start against the Syracuse Mets. The series finale for the Syracuse Mets is a 3-game series to start the year for them. And then tomorrow is the built-in off day. And then by Wednesday or Thursday, we get into the remaining MILB teams who will be in action. So that is going to be pretty interesting stuff. And also Boston will be in action in Houston this week as well. So, all right. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed today's program. I'll be back again tomorrow for Middleboro Matters. Until then, have a great rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.
We are AM 1530, WVBF, Middleboro, Taunton, and W259DD, Middleboro Center, 99.7 FM, your hometown radio station.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Michael Herron. Iran-backed Houthi rebels have entered the month-long war in the Middle East and claim they launched missiles toward Israel. The Houthis could threaten another important global shipping lane in the region. Meanwhile, about 2,500 U.S. Marines have arrived in the Middle East to strengthen the largest U.S. military buildup in the region in more than 20 years. The White House is defending
All
President
right.
Trump's mail ballot in last
Okay,
week's
that's going to
special
do it for
election
today's
in
program. I
Florida.
hope everyone
White House
enjoyed today's
Republican
program.
Republican
I will be
Bill
back. As I can
The president
fix
argues
this.
that
Here we go.
voting by mail
I'll be back
fraud, and he's pushing
next week.
Congress to curtail the practice. But that didn't stop him
And
from
if you want to
casting
tune
a
into
mail
Middleboro
ballot in the
Matters
race to
tomorrow,
represent
live
his
here
home
on
district
YouTube,
in Palm Beach
Middleboro
County.
Matters Radio
Voted by mail,
on
even though
YouTube
early
tomorrow morning,
in-person
11 a.m. to
voting was
noon.
available
All right,
while he was in
I'll be
Florida.
back for
The
another
White House
edition of Middleboro
spokesperson said that the
Review
president
next
objects to
Sunday.
universal
Excuse me.
mail-in
Bye-bye,
voting
everybody.
and that he supports exceptions for some mail-in ballots.